Hello and welcome back to jimmurphymp.com, a way of keeping in touch with local and national news. I'm standing here in the drizzle in Waterfoot and Fleurs Road. The reason why I'm here is that many folk who live locally will know this area. It's quite distinctive, but there's a proposal from Gladman developers to turn what is officially Greenbelt into a housing development. Myself and Ken McIntosh are really pretty concerned about this. I know there's been public information sessions held locally, but the bottom line is that this is Greenbelt land. It was designated as such in the local development plan, and if developers want to build houses, and we all know there can be a shortage of houses, there's plenty of brownfield sites that can be built upon rather than coming and spoiling this space. So if you have an opinion, if you have concerns, well actually even if you support the potential proposal, then please respond to the survey that Ken and I have sent out in the last 24 hours to gauge local people's views. Only two quick things I'd mention is that as the London and Edinburgh Marathon's coming up, have a look on the website. I'm running the London Marathon in a couple of weeks and then the Edinburgh Marathon a month later for two charities. The RAF Benevolent Fund that helps generations of those who have served in the Royal Air Force and their families, those who have been injured, those who have died right back to the Second World War, and also the Homelessness World Cup, which will be held in Chile later in the year, of course the real World Cup being in Brazil. I only found out recently Scotland, Brazil and Italy have all won the Homeless World Cup more than anyone else. I mean, Italy and Brazil have won the kind of the general World Cup and the actual World Cup, so it's something in terms of a sporting achievement, certainly for the kind of fantastically well-motivated Scottish homeless team that many of the squad that I recently met. The only other thing to mention as this drizzle turns to rain is that, of course, the referendum debate continues to rumble on. And what is pretty remarkable, I think, is the extent to which, regardless what the news is, regardless what the figures are, regardless what the announcements are, the SNP carry on regardless. And the most recent figures are about oil. And we all know that a big part of the SNP's argument is that independent Scotland can largely rely on oil taxes. But just over 1 year, the tax take on oil revenues was down £4.4 billion. Now, that's pretty awful news. There's all sorts of reasons for it, none of which are good news in terms of global events. But the point there is that within the United Kingdom, that £4.4 billion fall is a real difficulty. But within a much smaller economy in independent Scotland, a fall of £4.4 billion in 1 year would have devastating effects on public expenditure in Scotland. It's another example of how we are better together, and that old sense of unity of Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland. We're stronger together and we'd be weaker apart. And until the SNP are able to answer just how would you deal with these astonishing fluctuations in the oil price, then even that limited argument that they try and put forward has absolutely no credibility whatsoever. That's all for just now. I'm getting soaked standing here. As I said at the beginning, let us know your views about this proposed possible development off Fleurs Road by returning the survey, or get in touch in the usual way. Facebook, Twitter, email, or via the blog, or as I always say, go to a post office, buy a little stamp, stick it on the House of Commons, stick in a letter to the House of Commons, and let me know what you're thinking. That's all for just now. Cheers, bye bye.